Hello there. Good morning, everybody. Baby Yoda says good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on? We're doing the Armada stream today. It is a beautiful morning, and this is the earliest stream I've done in a while, outside of actually being at Gen Con, or at a convention, maybe Star Wars Celebration. I had some early streams as well. But this is an early stream. I am going to share this out a little bit, and we're going to be going through all the Armada stuff, all the news. We're going to watch the Fantasy Flight live stream as I kind of get situated here and get my trusty Porg coffee cup. Too hot right now. I have to let it cool down. I can't have my coffee when it's too hot. So, what's going on? We got a couple of people joining in. Thank you for coming to hang out with us this morning. Let's see what's, I'm just basically sharing this out and letting people, kind of spreading the word real quick. That's about it. There we go. So I think today is like the holy grail of streams. We're going to be getting a lot of good news today. Somebody asked me, I think yesterday, something about a question of like, well, what is it that they're going to announce in this stream that they didn't already talk about? I'm like, I think a great deal. And that's kind of one of the things we're going to talk about during the pre-show here is like, what do you guys think they're going to announce? Michael says, the Separatist capital ship looks so pretty. You need 10 on your shelf ASAP. Yeah, that's, well, I mean, there's two, but I think the Munificent's the one you're talking about, and that one does look really good. It looks munificent, almost sounds like a compliment. Greetings from Poland. Well, thank you. Hey, how's it going, Poland? Where are you guys all tuning in from? Let me know let me know in chat as I'm... All right, I'm getting that going. Trying to think where else I need to have it going. All right. I think it'd be really funny if we had more people in this chat, in this stream, than in FFG's stream. Because we did for a little while during the in-flight report. Like, when they were having difficulties, they dropped down to like 30 people that were left, and we still had almost 500, which was pretty awesome. So I don't know. The sheer number doesn't really do it. It's just kind of fun, Good morning, everybody, and I see we got people from the UK. We got people from Tampa, which isn't too far from me. A couple of UK, New York, Germany, Virginia. Let's see where else we got people from. Georgia, Kansas, Belgium. A lot of United States folks. Louisiana, all right. What time is it over in the UK right now? I could probably just do the math. All right. Oh, by the way, if you are hanging out and joining us, we're going to be doing a big giveaway at the end of the stream for some promos. And we got a lot of 4 different promos. One lucky person is going to win for Star Wars Armada. So let's see. Let's see if we can get these on stream. We've got an Assault Frigate Mark IIA promo. The last of the old guard, right? Because if all the ships are going down to small cards, you have a big promo. These actually might be worth a little bit more now. I don't know if they'll have a higher value, being that they're oversized promos. We've got a GR-75 medium transport promo. We've got old school a Nebulon B escort frigate promo. And from the Massing at Sullust, I believe. Yes, the Massing at Sullust, the Imperial 2 Star Destroyer promo. This one has the game's name on it. In case you forget what game you're playing, it's good that the promo has the game's logo right there on there. So somebody will win all of those. I'll let you know how to win later on. Speaking of winning, let's do some admin stuff and get that kind of taken care of. The giveaway right now is still going on. I think the winner for that's going to be announced Sunday. And so that's for the $100 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. And we have some new, for those of you guys not curious when the live stream starts, the live stream starts in about 20 minutes or so. So we'll be watching it. You can watch it here with me, or if you want to just watch it on FFG's Twitch, you can watch it there. But we're going to be watching it here also. I'll switch out. You won't see me. I'll turn my mic off. You'll see it full screen. And watching it here, if they crash or if they have technical difficulties, I can switch back over to me. We can talk about it, and then as soon as they come back up, I'll switch back over to them. And the game plan is that once they are done, then I'll switch back over here, and then we kind of talk about it and react in real time. Like, whoa, did you see that? You know, that sort of thing. Who thinks I need to shave? I keep fiddling with this. It's getting too long. This is my Corona beard right now. I got full blown like Alec Guinness on Tatooine, Obi-Wan Kenobi length right now. It's getting scruffy looking like a Nerf herder. Yeah. Anyway, but as far as admin stuff, also because I was talking about that. There are links down in the description for like the merch shop, my Teespring shop. We've got neck gaiters like the Darth Maul neck gaiter. We've got Sabine. We've got Ahsoka. Here's a copy of the Ahsoka one. We've got Boba Fett. I've got the Boba Fett one right here, and we've got some double critical ones because I run a podcast for Star Wars Legion, and so the double critical ones are pretty cool. So they have the double critical logo. We got T-shirts down there also. We've got and most of these designs are also available as regular face masks as well. So we've got like the Darth Vader. Oh, if I want to cover up my beard, hold on. Let me put it on around. You know, they wrap around pretty good. All right. It's hard to put a mask on with a freaking headphones. Anyway, you get the point. Anyway, all that stuff is available. We also have T-shirts. I've got the like the X-wing up, down, left, right, BA start, where it's the X-wings pointed up and down, left, right, and then it's a B-wing and an A-wing for BA start. So the 30 live code with X-wing minis. We've got some Armada shirts. There's the broadside shirt. There's the asteroids shirt, like this one right here. Asteroids do not concern me, and those are actually Armada ships on there. And so like all that stuff is available down in the merch shop. I'd just like to let people know because there's not a whole lot of like shirts and stuff for the games that we play. I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars generic shirts, but I wanted to make some stuff that was more specific to our favorite tabletop game, Star Wars Armada, and other games. I got Legion stuff too, and things like that, and X-wing and all of that. But yeah, so that's one of the things that has been going on. Yeah, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, also there's links to Patreon. All of the promos that I'm giving away today, I'm also gonna have a whole nother set of them that's gonna go up on Patreon, and that'll happen probably later on today. So if you don't win, there's always more chances, and you know, I have giveaways going on Patreon all the time. I think at least once a month I have a giveaway going on Patreon. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. It's cool enough for me to drink it now. I'm one of these people. I'm one of these coffee guys where I can't have my coffee straight out of the pot. I have to have it a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. What do we got? Let's go to the chat and kind of interact with you guys a little bit. Let's see what do we got going on. So let's see. Chandler said, what's going on, Chandler? Says the beard is good. Thanks. It's better if I could stop playing with it. The problem is I sit there and like as I'm waiting, like I'm really anxious right now, right? I don't want to say nervous isn't the right word. Anxious is definitely. Anticipation is filled the room right now. So I do this, and I do this when I play tabletop games too, and I'm just like I'm always doing the Obi-Wan thing. I mean, Obi-Wan does it like once or twice in the movies, but I'd like do it all day long. And so that's like when I shave, I don't do it because it's shorter. Let's see. What do you think's going to happen on the stream? Aaron asks. Well, one of the things that was on the agenda is they're going to preview the new Clone War stuff. I think we'll get some close-up looks at some of the cards. I mean, we can see. So if you haven't noticed, the video behind me is FFG's little. I figured that would be an appropriate background, right? I put their little preview for this stuff. So I thought that was fun. But I think we're going to get previews of some of the ship cards. I don't think we've seen all of the ship cards yet, so they might show us some of the stuff up close that we hadn't seen yet, some of the squadron cards. I think we'll get a look at some upgrades and some cards we hadn't seen already. I think that's for sure. And some new rules, too. Like, we noticed there's some new keywords on some of the ships. I think they'll talk about that. Yeah, they may answer. I have some questions about the upgrade card pack, too. Yeah, so we're going to see. Will be interesting to hear what the rule changes are. I agree. I'm very interested in that, especially like with the AI that we see on some of the squadrons. That's one of the things that I'm curious about. The Maul one looks amazing from Aaron. The Maul, yeah, that's I think my favorite one. Also because I have like that Darth Maul hoodie that I got at Star Wars Celebration, and so I think when we do the Legion live stream. And I'll maybe I'll dress up for that, and I'll have my little Darth Maul outfit on, and have some fun with that. All right. So funny thing is, when these come out, there's always that fear that like, wait, if I'm playing these new factions, because there's no other ship packs coming out with these, right? Like, some people might ask, well, are the Munificent and the Hard Cell Transport going to be available as ship packs? I think that's actually a good question, because it doesn't look like they are, and from what we know, from what's been spoiled, those are not coming, at least not anytime soon. And they kind of did that with X-Wing too. Like, the only place to get the Belbalub is in, that initial the Servants of Strife pack or whatever it is. So that much is interesting. Countdown has started on the FFG's live feed. Let's see. Stream begin. What are they doing? Whoa, that looks weird. What are they? They've changed it up. That's better. All right. Yeah, it looks like we've got they're getting ready to start. They've got like 15-minute warning. I think they're going to be starting like maybe 1 minute early. So that much is interesting. Let's see. Let's test out our little transition here, and let's see. And all right, so here we go. So when it starts, I'll be turning off my mic, and I'll be switching over, kind of like this, and you'll hear, "Hello and welcome to Fantasy Flight Armada stream. We're going to show you some amazing ships today. Who out there is excited?" I know they probably won't be as boisterous as I tend to be, but man, could you imagine if I got to do the presentation? I always thought that they should let me. I always thought that they should let me do the their little presentations and stuff, because especially for Armada, because Armada is still my favorite game. Although really, I've been playing a lot more Legion lately. It's been harder to try and get the Armada games in. Right now, man, I can't wait for these to come out. So I'm curious if we're going to get kind of tired of running these like builds with only 2 ships per faction for a little while. But the good news is you won't have to wait very long, because I don't know if they're going to talk about Wave 1 or like the next wave of Clone Wars and stuff that kind of got spoiled, but I think that next wave is due out in January, so you won't have to wait very long at all. You'll have just enough time to kind of get acquainted with these ships before the next wave comes out. Yeah, and it looks like you're gonna get that new starter set for $100 and for $5, and yeah, it's gonna give you 3 ships. It's going to give you a pretty good starting setup. Let's see. Yeah, what transport and bombard are going to be? That's a really good question. Let's see, who's Tyler? Tyler's asking about what does transport and bombard mean? And also, another question I have is, what does clone really mean? I'm chatting in the Twitch, telling people that I'm also streaming over here. All right, let's see. Who is scruffy looking? Yeah, I'm getting pretty scruffy looking. I need to do more, but it's so early right now. It's I don't know. I was up late last night, and I was playing a game of Legion last night, and so I was tired. I'm still really tired. That's what the Porg coffee cup is for. This is Armada at its peak, huh? Yeah, I'll be interesting to see if a Pelta ends up coming like with a different sculpt. Big part of me doesn't think they'll redo the sculpt for that. I don't think they will. All right. Vulture droids are some of your favorite ships in all of Star Wars. I wonder if the Vulture droids are going to do anything, have any kind of cool interaction with asteroids, right? And yes, we're at the 10-minute warning. Bob Nunn hanging out in the chat with us. How you doing, Bob? All right. Cared, you're in both chats. That's cool. Yeah. We have almost as many people watching this stream as watching the official Gen Con stream, which is pretty cool. Greetings from Germany. How are you guys doing? You guys having a good time? What's the over-under that they'll have acclimators and venators for the Empire? That's a really good question. I would almost make the argument that acclimators will show up for the Rebels because of the book Alphabet Squadron, because the Hera's flagship in that book is an acclimator. So, yeah. But definitely venators for the Empire. I absolutely want venators for the Empire. One thing is interesting, what we can see, I'll tell you what struck me as the most interesting, is the acclimator here has a lot of dice. Right? It's got like 3 red dice in its side arc. The Consular class cruiser has decent dice. The hard cell transport has decent dice. These ships are packing more of a punch than I had expected them to pack. So, yeah, like I am, like, we got a super chat, everybody. Super chat from Tommy Adams. What's going on, Tommy? He says, "Woot woot Armada." Yes, sir. I am right there with you. I might not be quite as loud as I normally am, because it is a little bit early and I got to bed late last night, but I've got my coffee. I'm ready to take it all in. We have 8 minutes until the stream begins, and we're going to be running through it. I'll be switching. So if you guys just joined right before we start, if you guys did just join, we have a big giveaway going on for this stream. It'll be at the end of the stream. We got 4 Armada promos. One lucky viewer is going to win all 4 promos, and it's going to be the Nebulon B Armada promo. We're covering multiple factions here. A GR-75, and these are like maybe the last of the big ships, right? So an assault frigate, Mark IIA, and it's not all rebels because we've got Grandpa right here. The Imperial II class Star Destroyer from the massing at Celeste. These are all going to go to one lucky viewer. I'll let you guys know how to win those later on. And also, if you guys are patrons, you'll have an extra chance to win, because I have a whole separate set that is... Yeah, I've got like 2 sets of both of these. So one set is also going to go up on Patreon as well. So that is pretty cool. Yeah, so just stay tuned. Make sure you hang out to the end, and you'll have a chance. We've got 6 minutes left until the official stream starts us off, and then we're gonna get some news. Make sure you. Goodness, I need to take some notes. I need to do that. Let's see. Let me get my notes ready. I will be muting my microphone so you won't hear me talking over the stream. And the only way I will chime in to talk is if there's some kind of, what am I saying? If there's some type of, like if they go down, if they lose it. Somebody says there should be somebody said there should be a Crabbok reaction video. I'm like, well, I'm streaming the reaction video right now. I'm reacting live. Although, I will have my mic muted so you guys can watch with me. But I will be in chat with you guys, too. You know? Whoops, wrong thing. There we go. Yep. All right. All right. Well, we're up to 230 viewers right now. We're doing good. All right. Oh, we can see 5-minute warning. I am going to top off the pork coffee cup. I'll be right back. All right. We got a little over 3 minutes to go. We are in the home stretch. We're finally going to get some really juicy news here, which, I mean, are you guys excited about that? I'm pretty excited about that. Greetings from Switzerland. How's it going there, Switzerland? Begun the Clone Wars has, indeed. Wow. Yes. Man, this is an exciting time. You know, I'll tell you one thing that really bums me out is I feel like, I don't know if they have the minis. I feel like if this was actually at Gen Con this year, we'd have prototypes in the case, and I could be walking around with my, like live streaming, taking pictures, capturing video, and you guys like, look at this. Oh, look at this. Biggs IRL is running his Steel Strategies Unnamed podcast live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you can sign up through Gen Con. Give a little shout out. But yeah, I actually listened to that. There's not a lot of Armada content creation out there, at least when you compare it to like Legion and X-Wing. So it's good to see Armada podcasts. And yeah, the Biggs and Schmitty run a pretty good podcast on there. So you guys should check that out. I think it's pretty good. All right. Let's see. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to go. And I think when we get to the home, down to 30 seconds left, I'm going to swap it over. And we'll go from there. So, very fun stuff. I can't wait to get... I cannot wait to get this stuff on my tabletop. Like, can you imagine unboxing those Armada Clone Wars stuff for the first time? Can you imagine, like taking a look at, like, just having that acclimator in your hand or having that munificent in your hand, and then, when Venators and stuff come out, too, which I think should be in January. And if everything comes out on time, this would be a perfect Christmas present, right? having this just in time for Christmas is really, really exciting. This is funny. You hope we're getting a small preview for Wave 2. So I think technically this is launch wave. The next wave is technically Wave 1, I think. I think that's technically how it works. But yeah, it'd be nice if they tell us a little bit about the next wave, especially since it is supposed to be coming out in such close proximity. And also curious if all that other stuff. All right, we're in the 30-second mark, so I'm gonna start swapping us over here. We've got less than 30 seconds to go. I will be cutting my mic off, and we'll be listening to FFG, and hopefully there's no sound problems. Oh man, no, I didn't think about that. All right, you guys, here it is. Make sure you stay watching to the end for the big promo giveaway. Also, all right, let's take it from FFG.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to our Gen Con Online Star Wars Armada stream. I am BK. I'm joined here today by Michael Gerns,
Hey.
Star Wars Armada developer here at Fantasy Flight Games. We're so excited to be here with you guys today. Obviously, you just saw the trailer. The Clone Wars have begun, coming to Armada at last. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, Michael.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right in here. So we announced a lot of new products during the in-flight report a couple days ago.
Yeah.
We've got the Galactic Republic coming to the game. We've got the Separatist Alliance coming to the game. We've got a few products related to both of those things, and we got a couple other things. There's some minor kind of rules tweaks that we're going to talk about today in the stream. Let's jump right in. Let's start talking about the Galactic Republic, shall we?
Sounds good.
All right. So one of the kind of big announcements, obviously, is you're going to have two different ways to jump into these factions. Unlike the original Star Wars Armada core set, where you had Imperial ships and Rebel ships, you're going to have a Republic fleet starter and a Separatist fleet starter. And in the Republic fleet starter, you're going to get 3 ships. You're going to get a Acclimator class assault ship, 2 Consular class cruisers. You're going to get 4 squadrons of V-19 Torrents, and all the other components that you need to get started. So you're going to have dice in there, you're going to have the maneuver templates, you're going to have objective cards, things like that. So let's just start off. Why were the Acclimator class assault ship and the Consular class cruisers, why were those the ships to introduce the Republic to Armada?
Well, like a lot of things, several reasons. So I think the number one is the Acclimator and the Consular are, if you watch the series, if you watch the movies, but especially the series, they're the building blocks of the Republic fleets. They're flying around the edges, escorting the bigger ships. The Acclimator is definitely like the mainstay ship at the Battle of Geonosis and some of the later battles that you see in the Clone Wars animated series. And so, and they're also just like, the paint schemes that you see, especially, are just really pretty.
Yes.
They look really awesome. So, for those reasons, also because, like, especially if you look at the way that we debuted the core set, the original core set, with like the size of ships, and trying to have some like light ships, something medium sized, that gives us something to start out with where we can give players more content, more options, more units, and also it leaves us plenty of room to build up to other things.
Absolutely, sure. And I should say, if we are going to be covering quite a bit today, everything that was announced the other day. We're going to get into the upgrade card collection a little bit here, because probably everybody at home noticed, some maybe different tweaks to upgrade cards and things like that. We're going to talk about all that today. So if anybody has any questions, just feel free to put it in the chat. I will try and notice it here, or Ryan, always behind the camera there, keeps me honest and writes me some notes of things you guys are asking. So if you're wondering anything, feel free to ask in the chat there. All right, so we just saw the trailer, obviously, and you guys are pretty eagle-eyed in there, but we have some spreads there for the Acclamator, have Consular class armed cruiser in the back, some of the ship cards there. Tell us a little bit about those ships. What kind of things do they bring to the Republic fleets? How do they kind of operate in a battle?
Okay, well, I think veteran players of the game are definitely going to find that they feel analogous to the units that fight in the Galactic Civil War 2, but with a twist. The Consular class is a Corvette in a lot of ways. It operates really similarly. It's a fast, fly around the map and shoot things from a distance kind of ship. At least one of the variants is, and the other is a bit more focused on flak and on closer in firepower.
Okay.
The Acclamator, on the other hand, is your classic wedge-shaped Republic, later Imperial style battleship, and it is a lot like the later Victory class. It's really good at it's got some long-range firepower, and then it's really good at closing in with short-range firepower. But and it also has that classic kind of Republic Imperial thing where it's also a carrier, and in this case it's a transport, at least that's part of its identity, which may key into later upgrades, things like that.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of upgrades, I guess this is kind of related. A lot of people have noticed that, on these ship cards, there are some keywords, perhaps. We're starting to get some questions in the chat about those keywords. What can you tell us about the keywords?
Yeah. So those are actually, they're properly called traits.
Right, okay. So
They don't have innate rules associated with them. What they are is new hooks we can put onto a ship that can key into to upgrades as requirements, or potentially down the road they can key into some objective cards and scenarios, special rules for a match to reflect some of the things about these ships that it would be difficult to wedge into the game up front, when it's really a game about naval combat.
sure, yeah.
But it allows us also a chance to kind of differentiate sub-factional identities.
Okay, yeah, so obviously, the
Yeah.
big one, I think, on the Acclamator, it says clone.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So obviously that's not something that the Separatists are going to have, or
No.
Empire, or Rebels, or anything like that.
No.
Might we see some of these traits on Rebel or Imperial ships, or kind of anything like
Yeah.
that later on?
Over time,
Okay.
yes, that's the kind of thing we would like to do.
Nice. All right. Let me see here. Will older ships pick up traits? We already did that one. Okay, so this is actually an interesting question. Wouldn't all Republic ships just have clone on them?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There are some ships that I think are more closely associated with the Republic's, the other branches of the Republic Navy. For example, if a ship is all crimson, that's more like the Senatorial Diplomatic Corps.
Okay.
Kind of like you see at the start of the Phantom Menace. and that is in fact one of the things we're representing with one of the marks of the consular class.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. So we have a lot of different. Seems like it opens up kind of an interesting design space where you can come up with these different traits.
Yeah.
The ones that we see here are clone and transport, but there might be other ones for the Republic eventually coming on down the line, or in some of these other ones, the consular class perhaps, or something.
Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely about adding some design space and adding some new things that some new levers we can pull.
Oh, nice. Okay. Will there be cross-faction use? So, for example, will the Empire be able to use acclimators? And I think probably this question comes from, obviously, the Republic turned into the Empire. There is a little bit of, cross-pollination there, perhaps, with some similar ships or ships that were used by both factions.
Yeah. And there are definitely some ships that are in the Clone Wars that you later see used in the Galactic Civil War. So all I can really say right now is stay tuned. That's the kind of thing down the road that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, yeah. So, interesting. Maybe we've thought about that or got some ideas. All right, cool. Let me see. I think we could probably actually. So we looked at that spread. Let's actually we've taken a look at the Republic Fleet Starter itself.
Yeah.
We've taken a look at some of the ship cards. You want to talk about maybe a new upgrade coming? It's not necessarily a faction-specific upgrade, but it's a kind of a cool new upgrade that's going to be in, I believe, both the fleet starters. Reactive gunnery.
Yeah.
It includes one of the new symbols that we'll talk about a little bit later on when we talk about the upgrade card collection.
Yep.
But this, I believe, helps get some ships the salvo defensive token.
Yeah. So this is another way. So the salvo has been recently introduced to the game. I think it's a really fantastic, and really flavorful other defense token that we didn't start out Armada with, and it makes a lot of sense to have that in these new factions. But we have also wanted to propagate it through, or give it to other ships the ability to use it. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it's like this is a tactic. Like you're trading off other defenses for using reactive gunnery. And this is a defensive retrofit, so it's giving you, this is a level up capability for your ship.
Yes. Yeah.
You're able to, you can make a decision whether you're going to counterfire or you're going to use that defense token's, innate ability.
Okay, yeah, so you get a little bit more options. You can kind of customize, the defenses of your ship a little bit. Nice. All right.
Yeah, it's just another way to bring salvo into the mainstream of the game.
Mm-hmm. And salvo obviously was introduced with was it the Onager class Star Destroyer?
Yep. And the Starhawk.
And the Starhawk, yeah. So
yep.
the last couple Imperial and Rebel ships that were released introduced that. So this is a way to bring those to the Republic and Separatists and kind of just give you more options with that defensive retrofit. Very cool. Let's see if we have any questions. I just don't want to miss anything. What's the new circular icon on the reactive gunnery upgrade card? I believe they're talking about the one in the upper right-hand corner. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm glad you guys are noticing these things and pointing it out, so thank you for that. If we don't hit on that later, make sure you request it in the chat. So, moving on, so obviously the squadrons are also a very important part of all of your fleets. The Republic Fleet Starter comes with some V-19 Torrents, but you're also going to... we have the Galactic Republic Fighter Squadrons pack that's going to introduce...
Yep.
Correct me if I miss anything. We're going to get some BTLB Y-Wings in there.
Yep.
We're going to get some ARC 170s in there. We're going to get some Delta 7s in there.
Yep.
And we're going to get some even more V-19s, correct?
Yep.
Did I miss anything?
No, that's it.
All right.
Yeah, you can get some more ace pilots for the V-19 and just more numbers if you want to fly a real swarm of V-19s.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the fighter squadrons. Obviously, we've talked about how the Republic primarily uses clones, but we also have the Delta 7 in there.
Yeah. That
are flown by Jedi. What's going on there? Is there maybe some kind of tactics you can use, some synergy between them, anything like that?
Yeah. Well, if you're a fan of the movies and the series, you definitely one thing that comes up over and over is how the Republic forces are, masses of clones who are highly trained and, raised to be in this battle, and they're led by Jedi. And so we have this kind of, we really want to represent that on the tabletop. And so one of the ways we're doing that is that the Jedi are they're extremely high-level elite fighters in general, especially when they're flying things like the Delta 7. But a lot of their abilities, the Aces abilities, are geared around supporting other fighters, especially supporting like clones and non-unique fighters that would be like clustering around them.
Okay.
So really, what we're looking at here is like a leader and troops kind of dynamic.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's one of the things we're going for.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I can't remember which cards they're on, but the V19. Well, the V19 I don't think, but the Delta 7 definitely, and maybe a couple others. Brings a couple new keywords to fighter squadrons.
Yeah. The Delta 7 has some new keywords to definitely to represent the capabilities of the Jedi. Even the non-unique Delta 7 squadron has like enhanced defensive capabilities. It has a keyword called Dodge that helps it in combat for survivability. They're very expensive fighter squadrons as a result, but we're just trying to represent thematically how amazing the Jedi were at the peak of their powers.
Yeah, so I mean they have the Force, obviously.
Yep.
Not too many other pilots in the this is probably the first opportunity really where you have like a massive, or not, maybe not a massive, but a large group of starfighter pilots that can use the Force.
Yeah.
I mean there's a few in the Galactic Civil War era, but thank you. But now you have like the whole Jedi who entire squadrons of like Force using pilots now.
Yeah, and we represent that too. Like the Jedi squadrons they get a keyword called Adept. That's meant to evoke their ability to tap into the Force to just be better combat pilots, better on the attack.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, looking in the Galactic Republic Fighter Squadrons expansion, there are a lot of different Jedi represented, correct?
Yeah, that's definitely been a goal, is to just to get a lot of the signature Jedi out right away, so that it feels like the Republic from the bat. At least the Republic you see on screen.
Yes. Yeah, and I believe like most of those are in the Delta 7. There may be the BTLB Y-Wing pilot.
Yep.
Okay, yep. Awesome.
There's definitely a Jedi flying a BTLB Y-Wing.
Yep. Excellent. I think we have some questions in the chat. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting question that I don't actually know the answer to. Maybe you do, Michael. Will the ships in the starters ever be sold as individual expansions?
That's the kind of thing that we're looking at doing down
Okay.
the road. Initially, we're just pushing out the starters and fleet and squadron packs.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I had no idea. And then will we get the new keywords, I assume the squadron keywords, in any of the Galactic Civil War factions?
I think a lot of these new keywords are really going to be specific to the Clone Wars factions.
Okay.
Because they're so different. There's more. It's certainly possible we could use some of those keywords on other units later, but I think we're just trying to get the sense that this is a different era, and that these forces feel significantly different than the other forces that are fighting, later between the Rebels and the Empire.
Sure. Really, as a way, it seems like to kind of give the factions some kind of thematic flavor to them, and like kind of like here's how these like the Republic and Separatists are unique from the Rebels and the Imperials.
Definitely, that's a priority.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. Oh man, can I get a job so I can afford all this? Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope all of us can.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Some people asking about future expansions. We can't talk about any unannounced or unreleased stuff, but hold on. Let me scroll through here. Are we getting more than one ace per squadron type in the new squadron packs? I mean, we kind of addressed that.
Yeah. I think not every one of the squadrons does, but we've tried to give as many as possible, multiple aces, especially because this is the initial launch, and so we're just trying to get these new factions up to parity as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, I'm being told that we should move on here.
Yes.
Maybe save some questions for the end.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead? I'm good.
All right. Let's keep on moving here. That's the Republic. Want to talk about the Separatists?
Always.
All right. So we obviously have the Separatist Alliance fleet starter. That's going to come with the Munificent class frigate. The Separatists, I feel like, have ships that are hard to pronounce names.
They're definitely very multisyllabic, and they're very fancy and rarefied to look at.
Yes.
I actually really like the Munificent for that reason. It reminds me of like a scarab.
Yeah, it does look very cool.
It's very beetle-like.
Yep, the sculpts are very cool, very nice looking. The paint jobs are great.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Yep, you're going to get the see, I can't even say it. Munificent class frigate.
Yep.
2 hard cell transports.
Yep.
4 squadrons of Vulture droid fighters.
Yep.
What distinguishes the Separatists from other factions?
Well, we are definitely trying to make them feel much like they do on screen. They're, battle droids crew these ships, and we are definitely putting upgrades in there and giving these ships upgrade slots to try to represent that. In general, I think the Separatist ships, when you watch them on screen, they fight in unusual ways, especially the Munificent class, because it's really lining up and firing forward. But it also has all these like underside swivel guns that can pivot.
Okay. Yep.
And so we really work to represent that in how the ship is designed, so that it's really good straight on, but it can also adapt to opponents at its side. But it's not particularly fast.
Okay.
It's moderately maneuverable, but it's not particularly like it doesn't have as much hull, because I think in general Separatist ships, like if you look at the Munificent, it's not as massive. It's not as like centrally armored as your average Republic ship.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like kind of Separatists in general are more built on things are maybe a little bit more expendable. Obviously, they use a lot of droids.
Yes.
They're going to throw the numbers at you instead of kind of the heavily armored defensive ships then. Yeah.
They're going to, you're going to have to play to, I mean, both sides have their strengths and weaknesses, but with the Separatists especially, you want to, we're emphasizing the numbers part of their identity, and also that a lot of these ships are specialized and have slightly unusual fighting styles and or arcs.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up arcs, because a few people in chat are also like kind of noticing that the Munificent has this really kind of interesting set of arcs compared to a lot of ships. We kind of already talked about it, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's definitely intentional, because again, if you watch the series and the films, you see that it's got a centrally mounted like battery of heavy guns that's just front firing. And we want to represent that, and so you have like a relatively narrow front arc for that firepower, but it also has these like galleries of swivel weapons on the sides, and so we have arc lines on that ship that cut in. They don't come to the corner of the punch board. They actually cut into the front. So with like just steering a little bit, you can put 2 arcs on target a little bit easier. But because of the ship's geometry, it can also be deceptively difficult to get both of those lined up, because if you overcorrect,
you're only going to
can
have
miss.
one. Yeah.
But that's where the side arcs can really help be a little forgiving for it. So it takes a bit of finesse to keep the ship on target, and I think that's one of the things I think comes out when you watch the series, that it's they line up in these battle lines and they fire forward, but the Jedi have to find ways to break through that line.
Nice. Yeah. That's really cool. I feel like just those small little, even like the arcs on a ship kind of gives
Yeah.
it a little bit more flavor. Separates it distinguishes it as a faction. So
Yeah, that's always been a part of the game that we want to explore, and I think a lot of these new ships give us the opportunity to do things like this that we haven't done before.
very cool, very cool. So a lot of ships in Armada have dual roles reflected in their ship cards. The Separatists are no exception. You're going to get a couple different options, I believe, for the Munificent class and the Hard Cell. Tell us a little bit about the different options for both of those ships.
Yeah, so starting with the Munificent, you have the Comms Frigate, which is that is a lot more geared to commanding fighters, and it also has like a few different upgrades to make it better. Like you can equip it to be a better carrier, and or like light command ship, I guess I would say. The Munificent Star Frigate is kind of the more battle focused version. It's got a defensive retrofit, and it trades off its ability to command as many fighters, but it's got better anti-squadron firepower.
Okay.
With the hard cell transport, what we're doing there is the literal hard cell class transport is really a support ship. It can fight a little, but it has a role much more similar to the Gazatis or transports for the Rebel Alliance and Empire, but it's a bigger ship and it's one ship. So your fleet support option there makes it feel different than those older factions. It's concentrating a lot of that ability in this like bigger, more massive ship that can contribute a little more to the battle, but also has some weaknesses.
Sure.
And the hard cell battle refit that doesn't have that fleet support slot. It's really more of just a light ship, at least as far as within Separatist terms.
Sure,
they
yeah.
don't tend to have a lot of small ships.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so it's going to fight similar to a Nebulon B, I think, in many ways.
Okay. Yeah, and actually I saw a question in the chat a little bit ago about if we're going to see any new commanders. Actually, stay tuned. We have the stream right now. Immediately after the stream, we're going to have some announcement articles for all of these Armada expansions. You're going to see a couple new upgrades in there, and I believe, if I remember correctly, at least one. I think one. I don't want to promise more than one. At least one new commander in there. So, yeah, we have even more stuff after this show. I thought I saw.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Armada without commanders.
Exactly.
That's just central to the game, and there's a lot of colorful commanders to choose from.
Exactly.
in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, at Adepticon, like after Adepticon, we showed Wat Tambor, we showed Obi-Wan. What can we expect for some other commanders, perhaps?
Well, I don't think it'd be surprising to say Count Dooku was in there.
Yes. Yeah.
Eventually General Grievous will show up. That's a guarantee. And there's also other Separatist leaders like Admiral Trench, and of course like other Jedi commanders. Like all the big Jedi usually have their own battle fleet and their own forces, and so I think you're going to see all the ones you would expect.
Yep. All the kind of big names, all the iconic characters, perhaps, are going to be in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to hold on to this question until we're kind of done talking about the Separatists before we move into the upgrade card collection. But help me remember, Michael. Obviously, the Separatists and Republic, fought against each other during the Clone Wars. In Armada, they will be able to take on both the Rebels and the Empire.
Yeah.
So I want to save it for a little bit later, but thinking about how these factions match up against the Galactic Civil War factions. Let's move on to taking a look at another new upgrade, Munitions Resupply, which I think is very cool. I mean, I just like the art. We have a couple, some B-1 battle droids carting around some munitions, perhaps, and this actually includes some of the new icons and things that we'll talk about a little bit later on.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Munitions Resupply is a new fleet support card. We're taking the chance to do some new things with that support slot. because we're going to be putting that on new ships, and ships that in some cases, for example, like the hard sell, they just have different profiles, different size than the ships that we gave that slot to before in the game. And so munitions resupply is, instead of being a generalist card the way that the classic like CommsNet card that the Gazanti and the Transport have used, this card is really focused on handing out concentrate fire tokens.
Okay. Yeah.
And so instead of, and also unlike CommsNet, this card lets you hand out a lot of tokens at one time.
Yes.
And so I guess why don't we talk about the icons a little bit? So the blue bar on the left,
Yes. Yep.
that is how many tokens this card starts with.
At the beginning of the game,
Yep.
you put those on there. Five concentrate fire tokens.
Yep. So you put 5 concentrate fire tokens on this card. They belong to this card. You can't spend them otherwise. But when you exhaust this card and use it, you can begin handing those tokens out. But when the supply is gone, it's
That's
gone.
it.
Yeah. So you have to choose how you're going to ration these out to supply your fleet. On the right hand side of the card, that red arrow symbol, that is what we call the non-recur icon.
Yes.
So this is an upgrade card that does not ready itself. You have to pay what's called a ready cost, and that's what the symbols below mean.
Okay. Yeah.
That means you have to pay 1, that's the number, and then you can choose from a concentrate fire token, or a repair token, or a navigation token. But you have to pay 1 token to ready this card. So you have to invest some resources.
And when would you pay that?
You would pay that during the command phase.
During the command
At the
phase.
start of the
Yeah.
round.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna spend this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ready this card.
Yeah.
Have it good to go.
Yeah, early in the round.
All right. And so you call this the little kind of arrow pointing to the right up in the top right corner next to the title. That is a non-recur symbol where you have to
Yes.
exhaust the card, correct?
Yep.
And that separates itself from reactive gunnery, which is a recurring card, correct? Kind of tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that symbol is just, that's the classic, that symbol is just to denote that this card operates like a classic, exhaust and refresh card. You exhaust it to do your effect,
Yep.
and then it readies during the status phase. And I misspoke earlier when I said you pay the ready cost during the command phase, I meant the status phase.
Oh, the status phase. Okay.
Yeah, when you would ready cards and check things.
Yeah.
So
something like reactive gunnery, that's kind of obviously, so you can only use it one time. You can't just keep I'm just gonna keep using this card and getting these salvo tokens.
once per round.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry,
Exactly.
once per round. Yeah, excuse me. Yep, thank
but
you.
you can use it. You can use it throughout the game. You can use
Yep.
it every round if you are able. And I think the conditions of the card are what limit how often you can use it. So that's what these symbols are about.
Very nice. Yeah, and we'll actually talk about the effect these have on other, maybe older cards a little bit later on when we talk about the upgrade card collection.
Yeah, and we plan to post these rules, I think, in the near future. So people can take a look at them and see how this functions.
Yeah, just kind of get a feel for them, even well before these expansions are released. So awesome. Okay, so I actually have a lot of people asking for what's coming next year, so they want to see a Separatist Squadron card. So let's show them. Let's take a look at some Vulture droids.
Yeah.
Which have some cool stuff on there. Obviously, Vulture droids kind of like the bulk of Separatist starfighter squadrons. They also have some new keywords on them.
Yes. Much like with the Republic, we want the Separatists to feel different. The Galactic Empire relies on lots of expendable pilots, but they're human pilots. They're biological people. The Vulture droids, the swarms of the Separatists are made up of droids, and one thing that comes through a lot is that these droids are very dependent on their network and on being effectively commanded. They have AI, but they're not necessarily the best AI. And so we have given these squadrons a new AI keyword that is and generally a lower dice pool to start with. But this is to represent that when they're commanded, they get better. They're hooked into the network. They're being more effectively used. And so they can, it's a lot like a concentrate fire command, but for a squadron.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So they can add a die that's already in their pool while they are being commanded with a squadron command.
Very cool. And if I remember correctly, so Vulture droids have their own kind of AI and different types. So you're going to get in the Separatist Fighter Squadron pack.
Yep.
Again, help me out here if I miss anything. You're going to get more Vultures.
Yep.
You're going to get Hyena-class droid bombers.
Yes.
You're going to get droid tri-fighters, not droid TIE fighters. That'd be
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Droid tri-fighters. And you're going to get the Belbalab 22 starfighters.
Yep, all correct.
Yep. And so, obviously, one of those things, not like the others, the Belbalab has traditional kind of organic pilots.
Yep.
Let's talk about the other
Yeah.
types of droid. They also have their own unique AI, correct?
Yeah. So the Hyena bomber is the one that stands apart the most with its AI because instead of having AI anti-squadron, it has AI battery, which means it can add dice to its battery pool, its anti-ship pool, and so you can double its firepower effectively while it's being well commanded.
Very nice. Okay, yeah. And so now tell me, obviously we said the Belbalab, a little bit different.
Yeah.
What sorts of things, how would the Belbalab pilots interact?
Yeah.
You kind of already hinted at it by saying, Separatists really kind of thrive on, we're just going to send in like waves of these expendable droids. Obviously, the Belbalab, these pilots, they probably want to stay alive a little bit. Maybe do they interact with droids a little bit?
Yes, yes, they do. The Belbalab is really good at anti-fighter combat. It's also, it's got some similarities in gameplay to the way that shuttles have operated before. It has the relay keyword.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit of a command fighter.
Nice.
It likes to be mixed in with the droid fighters, so that it can help push them along and relay commands from the ships. But it also has a keyword that lets it take full advantage of the swarms of expendable fighters around it, and that is called screen, and that gives the Belbalab extra levels of defense for having Vulture droids, hyenas, etc. around it.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the Belbalab maybe goes in with some droids and
Yeah.
commands the droids like, kind of like screen us. We got like other squadrons coming in here, or
Exactly.
we're taking some fire.
Yeah.
You guys can take the heat for us a little bit.
Yep, it wants to be mixed in so that they can take some of the hits and it can deal out some more damage, and it can also help make that whole pack operate more effectively.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that's very cool. Just making sure I didn't miss any questions here. I think I'm good. All right. So that is the Separatists, kind of a little overview of the Separatists. We've hinted at it probably long enough. Let's talk about the upgrade card collection.
Yeah.
So in addition to the Separatists and the Republic entering the game, we also have the upgrade card collection, which it serves a couple functions. First off, it ensures new players, if they want to pick up the game with either the Republic or the Separatists, you're going to have it's 290, pretty much every, I believe, previously released upgrade card in there. So you're going to have every upgrade card. You don't have to go back and get old expansions or anything like that.
Right.
But the other kind of cool thing is, we already showed you with munitions resupply, we've got some new iconography, kind of doing some small tweaks to the rules.
Yeah.
All the cards in there are going to reflect these rule changes, correct?
Yep. All the cards in the collection are going to capture all of the current errata and adjustments, and there are also there are a certain amount of new errata or even points changes.
Sure. Yeah.
For some cards.
Yeah, and actually, real quick, we are going to show you guys some of those cards and kind of go over them right now. But there was one question. Oh, are there any duplicates in the upgrade card pack? Yes, there are.
Yes.
Yep. Several, and we'll actually, that's another plan we have before, obviously, this is released. We're going to get a full list of here's every card in here and how many you get.
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk about XI7 turbo lasers a little bit later on. I know there's multiple. I think there's 2 copies of that in there.
Yes.
But there's multiple copies of several upgrade cards in there.
We've definitely. It was really important to me to build in extras, especially for like popular or staple upgrade cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like, hey, we might be using this on more than one ship, perhaps.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so the upgrade card collection, really, it allows somebody who's new to the game to get the full library. Also, because we're making the card sizes throughout the game consistent, it gives veteran players a chance to buy all their existing cards with new errata and any changes, and all at the new size.
Yeah, these are all LCG size now, correct? Yeah,
if they choose to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice. So yeah, let's actually talk, or let's look at some specific examples.
Yeah.
The first one we have here is Grand Admiral Thrawn, who has the bar on the left with some. And I believe that's a new icon, if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that icon is like the tokens. This icon means any dial. So that block around it this is really how we can now template like an effect that involves dials. So Admiral Thrawn's ability now it's functionally the same as it ever was. This just is a way for us to integrate a lot of the concepts that originally started on Admiral Thrawn's card and are now going to be part of just the general rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we can template this with the new symbols. So he functions like he did.
Yeah.
You just are going to choose 3 dials. They can be any combination of dials that you want. You're going to stack them on his card. It gives you a little instruction about like, oh, this is when you're going to choose those dials, and then the rest of the card is essentially what it was.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, very. I mean, like you said, is same function essentially, just kind of here's this new iconography.
Yep.
Kind of streamlines things a little bit, brings it into these tweaks that we have with the Republican Separatists.
Yep.
Very cool.
Just bringing him up to date with the new icons that we're introducing.
Mm-hmm. And so you already kind of mentioned that they're gonna. A lot of these cards are gonna reflect points changes.
A certain amount. Not a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but we did a deep dive on the whole card pool. We took a hard look at some things that were like off the curve with points costing, and we took a hard look at some effects. And so, for example, like we have done one of our first points errata with the commander version of Leia Organa.
Yes, yeah, who I believe is 10 points cheaper than she was before, correct? Yes. All right, so tell me a little bit more about that. You just kind of like going through there, just like looking it over.
Well, with something like this, we took a lot of time. This is sort of where we can talk about the changes to the game, because we spent a lot of time within the team and also talking with fans about what we thought, what updates the game could use. Mm-hmm. And so when we were looking at some of these changes and decided we were going to do a card collection to distribute them to everybody, that also gave us a window to take a look at some things that we wanted to do to the game just to improve things, some housekeeping things. Mm-hmm. And taking a look at points was one of those. We did a lot of playtesting, and we got a lot of suggestions from our wonderful playtesters, and this is the result of that.
Yeah, very cool. It's kind of an exciting thing, obviously, because it seems like you put points on a card, when it's first printed, and it's like, oh, how are we going to change it? So I feel like this is a cool opportunity where we can offer this, and it's got like the updated points, and I don't have anything other to say to that. But
this is a window for us to do to make some improvements to the game.
So question out here. When will we know the full list of cards with points changes? No set timetable. I can say as I think we said in the in-flight report, this first round here of Clone Wars stuff is releasing in December.
Yeah.
It will be before December. I can say that.
Yeah. So we have a ways to go between now and then, and so I think we're going to continue to release some of this information over the next couple of months, and that's going to be one of the things we talk about.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is a question here. I'm just going to ask it, even if it wasn't. just to clarify and everything. The upgrade card collection is just upgrade cards, right? There's not like ship cards or anything like that in there.
No, strictly upgrade cards.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's move on from Leia. So we have a couple other updates. So
you want to talk about turbo lasers?
Let's talk about some turbo laser reroute circuits first here. So this actually has that recur icon that we talked about earlier with reactive gunnery, right?
Yeah, so the changes to turbo laser reroute circuits, there's really just two. The text has been changed to take it in line with the errata that's been out for a long time. So this is the most up-to-date version of the card. Mm-hmm. It's also gotten the new icon for recurring, just to show you that you exhaust this and then it's going to ready at its appropriate time.
Awesome, yeah. So and then let's talk about we mentioned earlier the XI7 turbo lasers also have a little bit of new text, I believe.
Yeah, XI7 turbo lasers. This is one of the functional changes that we made. We made a minor errata to the card because of some rules interactions near the start of the game. We had to make a ruling about the fact that its cannot was an absolute, and that had ramifications for other defense cards, especially advanced projectors.
Okay.
And so what we've done is to change the text just a little bit so that it still preserves the original spirit of the card, but it is less of a hard counter to a card like advanced projectors.
Okay, very cool. Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing we've done with revisiting the card pool, is just take a look at interactions like that and say, what can we do that would improve the variety of things you can play, improve the economy of upgrade cards.
Yeah, and this is just kind of a taste of there's a lot of different cards in the upgrade card collection that have kind of these little tweaks to them, right?
Yeah, I would say overall we have changed about 18% of the card pool. Okay. So it's not like you're still going to be your Armada, but you're going to find a few cards have been tweaked, hopefully for quality of life.
Yeah. And so, are there any changes that we didn't kind of cover in there? So we have new icons. So we have the recur icon.
Yep.
We have the non-recur where you have to spend a token to actually ready it again.
Yep.
We have the kind of blue bar off on the left, right?
Yep.
Where you put something on there at the beginning of the game. Are there any kind of other changes? I can't think of anything, but you would know more than I would.
I think that covers really the biggest things that are happening.
Okay, very nice. Let's see here before I move on. Will we ever get new experimental retrofit upgrade cards? I'm having a lot of trouble speaking this morning. I don't know why.
The only answer I can really give is when there's an appropriate ship or product for that to come out in, yes, absolutely.
Nice. Okay. And just as we've been talking, I realized that I was like, before we talk about the upgrades, I want to talk about how the Separatists and Republic play against the older factions. Then I totally forgot. I feel like now is a good time to go back and revisit that faction.
Yeah.
So we've got Clone Wars era factions. How do they play against Galactic Civil War era factions?
Well, I think it's funny, the Galactic Empire and the Galactic Republic are going to be like funhouse mirror versions of each other.
Okay.
In some ways. Their ships are going to feel similar, at least their mainstay ships. But their escort ships aren't going to feel very Imperial. Mm-hmm. For example, the Consular Cruiser is much more like a CR-90 Corvette than a Raider class. And so it's, at the edges, their small ships are just going to feel different. But they're like, their main tactics, they're going to be similar. Their starfighters are also going to feel more like the Rebels. Mm-hmm. But hopefully, we're pushing that even beyond the Rebels with like the levels of excellence that the Jedi, like high level Jedi, have. And so you're going to have, I think, a different fighter experience. So it kind of feels like a hybrid of factions.
Okay.
The Galactic Republic. And so I think when they square off, it's gonna be like, our Star Destroyers are going to engage. They're going to feel similar. but then all these like tactics around the margins are going to be different.
Okay. Yeah, so it seems like there's some interesting like relationships between factions, like you were saying, between obviously the Republic became the Empire.
Yeah.
There's going to be some interesting stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah, and likewise, I think the Rebels and the Separatists are going to have a little bit of strange kinship too, because their ships will fight similarly in a lot of ways. They're capital ships, but their fighters are going to feel radically different.
Sure.
You know, because the Separatists are not about they're about mass and swarms. They're not about teamwork the way that the Rebels are. Rebel fighters tend to be chunky, tend to be, you know, like more resilient, have more like individual firepower.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. And so one of the big questions that I'm seeing in here is how many points are the new starters? Obviously, you're going to have 3 ships per faction in the starter. You're going to have some fighter squadrons. Obviously, I can't remember if it's 20 or 30 new upgrade cards in there for them. How many points are people looking at and working with these starters?
I think you could fairly easily make 200 points.
Okay.
And I think we have, like we showed in the Rebellion of the Rim campaign, we have more opportunities, I think, for 200-point play for that kind of format. And so starting out, I think that's going to be the easiest thing for people who just bought a fleet starter to play. And over time, when you have like another fleet starter or you buy additional expansions, then you can move up to the full 400-point game.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to get about 200 points. You kind of just start playing, get a feel for the ships in there.
Yep. Have a short game, in that 200-point format, and then escalate over time. I think, but yeah, like there's enough ships and enough upgrades, and with the fighter squadrons included, you're going to get there.
Okay. Yeah, and so one of the things that was announced that we really haven't talked about is the dials pack, where you get more command dials, you get some more speed dials, you also get a handful of tokens in there.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the dials pack and what you're going to get in there.
So this is a logistical pack. It's there's not a lot of new content in there for like cards or units. But one of the things we decided, looking back on the last 5 years, is that we were bombarding people with dials so much in every product, and it was probably just going to be better for everybody if we divorced the dials from every ship expansion, but gave you more dials up front when you enter the game, and also gave you a way to buy additional dials, because in practice, I think most people need a fluctuating amount of dials between 10 and maybe 20 at the most. Yeah. And so, if you have a starter set and a dial pack or two, you should be set for a long, long time.
Okay, yeah, so this is a way I'm going to expand my fleet. I'm just going to get a dial pack.
Yep.
So I have like all the dials I need. I'm not constantly getting like a flood of dials that are just kind of sitting around.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could add your ships, and then this gives us the chance to focus on the content that goes in the ship.
Okay, yeah. And so we obviously, in our product spreads, we have shown a lot of the tokens and things. Again, these guys don't miss anything in here. They have noticed some past tokens included. I can't remember if that's with the upgrade card collection or with the dials pack. Do you remember which one
that is? That is in the dials pack.
It's in the dials pack.
Yes.
What's the deal with the past tokens in the dials pack?
Well, I think that is part of that's part of the different tweaks that we have made to the rules. I don't want to get too deep into it, but we've taken a look at how at some of the problems that the game has had before with activation disparities, and so we are building in some ways around that to kind of level the playing field between fleets that show up that don't have as many activations and want to stall a little bit, so that there's just a little more parity between different styles of fleet build.
Sure. And in addition to the past tokens, both the dials pack and the upgrade card collection come with some tokens. What tokens are in there? Why are they in there?
For the card collection, it is any essential tokens that are required for those cards. For example, like some cards that call for marker tokens, or like other special tokens that are related to them, they're gonna come in that card collection so that you have that token if you're a brand new player to the game. You don't have to. You're not missing a chaff token because you didn't buy
a certain expansion,
the Chimera.
Okay. Yeah.
And with the dial pack, it's any other essential tokens that you will want in order to play the game.
Yeah. So it's just a way of, in addition to the upgrade cards, kind of collecting these tokens that you may need, that you may want. Just get in there, so it's kind of easy access.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh man, that. So the question about we showed with the upgrade cards and the rules tweaks there. Are there any other kinds of rule tweaks that are kind of getting introduced with the Clone Wars factions?
Well, I think the answer is yes. I know the answer is yes, but I think what we want to do is we're not going to get super deep on that today, but we've made some modest tweaks to the rules. It's the same game, but we've tinkered with some things that we think that were patterns that fans noticed over time. And we got together and talked amongst ourselves and talked with our playtesters. These are the adjustments that came out of that.
Sure.
And we're gonna talk more about that. I think I would rather people get a chance to read some of those things, get an in-depth article to really understand like what we're doing and why.
Yeah. And that's going to be one of those things in the next couple months before these are released. We're going to really, we'll have articles. We'll, really lay out like here's the changes, and I assume there will be like an FAQ or like some sort of rules reference update, maybe like right around the time that these are released.
Yes. Actually, we are. So one of the things I would like to say is with these changes, I think people are probably familiar with the fact that when we created Armada, that's 5 years ago now.
Yes.
We were in a different world in a lot of ways about how we support our games. And in the time since, we've gone more to a model with our minis games of having a living rules reference that is updated regularly to incorporate new things that have made their way into the game. And that's what we want to do with Armada.
Very nice.
So we're working on that right now.
Sure.
And so I think that will hopefully make the life easier for people to look up everything instead of having to carry around additional rules supplements. I think, and remind me, Brian, you were just saying there was another part to that question, I think.
Oh yeah, so it's just we were saying that we're going to eventually, or if there's going to be like an FAQ or not a errata, but like a rules reference update or anything like that.
Yep. That will be coming out in the next, between now and the rollout of these products.
Okay. Yes. And this one's a little bit tougher question to answer than the past ones, but there is some curiosity in the chat about we're doing obviously a point update with the upgrade card collection.
Yes.
Do you think there will be like any other points updates in the future, or?
That's definitely something we're hoping to do.
Okay.
We again, much like with our other products, we find it is helpful to support the line to periodically adjust points and for competitive play, and then that's something that we think Armada can do too.
And you actually brought up competitive play, which is actually really nice because we have a question in the chat. Will there be dynamic point changes for competitive play?
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, that there could be a competitive play document that will give you updates about and adjustments to how ships are pointed out, how squadrons are pointed out.
So you kind of actually hit on that, but I'm just gonna want to hammer it home because that's another question. So is there going to be a point update for the ships as well?
Potentially.
Okay. Man, we got a lot of good questions here. I'm going to try and hit them all. Oh, I just saw a good one in here. Okay, yeah. So the fleet starters, they contain all the essential components for one player to start playing the game, including there's objective cards in there. Are those new objective cards, or are they kind of the same ones that we've already seen?
You're talking about the upgrade card collection?
In the fleet starters.
You're going to be getting some upgrade cards that you've seen, but I think for the most part, the upgrades in the fleet starters they're new and they're specific to these factions.
Okay. And what about the objective cards that are also in the fleet starters?
Right now, they're the same old objective cards they ever were.
Okay.
That doesn't mean more objective cards won't be introduced as we go forward. But for now, I think everybody's going to launch and have access to the same things. The traditional, 12.
Yes. It says, will Galactic Civil War... Oh, ship. Yeah, there's no ship cards in the upgrade card pack.
No ship cards.
I just want to make sure I hit all the questions here. We can go over time a little bit, but we're getting close to finishing up, so I want to make sure we hit all the questions before we leave. When can we... Yeah, we'll hit that in a minute. Oh, will ship cards remain tarot-sized?
No.
They are now LCG size?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're moving toward a new template for ship cards with these Clone Wars products.
All right. Sounds good. I think we've hit most of the questions, and we're going to have to start wrapping up here. And we do actually want to show one more thing here. So actually, the last question I can answer is, so you will see announcement articles for all of these products right after this stream. I'm going to make that live. These products, we're obviously going to have a lot of preview articles for them in the coming months. You can see them, expect them in stores in December. And we actually know you guys have been waiting a long time for Clone Wars to hit Armada. So we have even better news is that this is only going to be the first round of Armada products that hit the Clone Wars. And just a couple months later, in the first quarter, I almost said first order. That's bad.
That'd be the wrong thing.
Yep. The first quarter of 2021, we're going to have even more Clone Wars Armada products, and we're just going to put up a little teaser there of maybe some of the things that you can expect coming just a few months later after these release in December. We hope you enjoy. Oh, yeah, okay. We got some excitement going on in the chat there, so yeah.
Great.
And actually, one last thing.
Sure.
So we have someone in the chat here said, that Pelta's wings look like they're opened. Yes, just a little bit different than the Pelta that has been released, correct?
Yes. I think especially if you're a fan of the show, you see that the Pelta that operates during the Galactic Civil War is a modified Pelta. And so we are definitely trying to represent the Pelta as it existed during the Clone Wars.
Awesome. So we'll leave you with that. Look for the announcement articles just here in the next half hour or so. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for this Star Wars Armada stream. Michael, thank you for being here with me and answering all these questions.
It's always fun to talk about this game.
Yeah. And
so thank you all for being here and for playing it and waiting for new stuff.
Yeah. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us today. We have the full Gen Con, our full Gen Con online schedule just below. If you scroll down on Twitch, you can see that. I know I'm going to be back here tomorrow doing some Star Wars Legion tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
But I know we have a lot of great streams coming up, so make sure you check all those out. Enjoy the rest of the Gen Con online weekend, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Stay safe.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Well, that's it for this live stream, right? Look at this. All right, so we're going to switch back over. Wow. Okay, so lots to digest, right? Lots to digest. I'm going to try and put some graphics on the screen, and let's try and do that. So we're going to go over some of the stuff, kind of react to everything, because I think that'll be fun. What do you guys think? You guys want to go over everything? I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's do that. I'm adding that stuff right now. Add file. I'm going through it. I'm gonna give it a minute or two for you guys to kind of come in and the big thing. I'm surprised they showed us the little preview for Wave 1. So we actually did get new stuff too, right? We although is it just me? You guys let me know in chat. I was the one who said, "Hey, those wings look like they're open." That I didn't mean that as, hey, that's different, because the wings are open in the Rebel version. So I was basically saying, hey, that looks like it's the same as the Rebel version. But then they tried to imply that, oh yeah, it's open. It's different than the Rebel version. So like I'm confused now, like which one is it? Because the wings were closed a lot of the times in the Clone Wars. But they basically, because they pointed it out, I think they just misspoke. I think the emphasis was on that this new Pelta is a new sculpt meant to reflect the Clone Wars version. And yeah, either way, I think it was just a misspeaking. But yeah, I think that's I think that's the idea. All right, let's see if this works. Boom, boom. We've got pictures. All right, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna make myself smaller so I can take myself out of the picture a little bit. All right, there we go. Let's break it down. All right. Well, we've got so much to get into. All right. You were hoping they would show Tarkin in the stream too. Yeah. Well, you know, the fact that they did. Look, here's what we do know. They didn't show Tarkin, right? We do know they said there would be a few points reductions. I think it's a huge. Can we say that it's a huge testament to the design quality of Armada that this many years in, there's only a couple of cards that needed errata and points changes. Like, that's insane. You know, like look at X-Wing. X-Wing second edition is only 2 years old, and that's already it still constantly gets changes, right? Armada has been this good for this many years, with an absolute bare minimum of changes and course correction. It's a phenomenally good. Yeah. Did I get screens of the last few art bits? I think so. We'll see what I got. I'll be honest with you, I was kind of going kind of crazy mentally. So we'll see. What I did get this one. I did get that one, right? Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go from the beginning. We're going to work our way down. So we talked about the core sets. We got they said that this would be about 200 points, which tells me like if you want to run a 400 point game, just get 2 core sets. I'm going to get 2 anyway, right? Like. Usually, my rule of thumb for most FFG games is buy 2 of everything. That gives you enough to run a good flavor of stuff, because there may be builds you want 2 acclimators in. Even once all the other stuff comes out, you may want 2 acclimators at some point. I mean, or you might want more than 2 consular cruisers. I like that they give you 2 here, because honestly, you probably won't need to get 2 of these. But yeah, 2 is good. Plus, you're going to get more dice. You're going to get a spare maneuver tool. If you're a new player coming into Armada, this is the way to start. I should do my what to buy first videos for these guys right now and just have that starter set. Like, just buy 2. Done. Like, 30-second video. Am I going to buy 2 of each starter? You're damn right I am. You're absolutely Chandler with the hard-hitting questions. Of course I'm going to buy 2 of each starter. Honestly, for $100, you're getting... your factions, you're getting all your starting equipment stuff too. I wonder if there's going to be changes to damage decks. And that's another thing too. You can't get a damage deck anywhere, right? And so now you're going to get some new ships and a spare damage deck. I mean, like, if you've been playing Armada for a long time, those damage decks are probably worn out. So this is a great opportunity to get some new damage decks. And I wonder if they're going to redesign maybe the art style on the damage decks at all or something like that. That's a really cool. So if you just arrived, if you're just hanging out with us, we're covering everything that they talked about in the streams. I got a lot of notes. I got a lot of things to talk about. I will probably, there's going to be an article going up. I'll probably also incorporate that article into maybe like a proper full video that'll go live later in the weekend, and we'll kind of break down everything we know, because we might presumably learn more information as time goes by. Now, the starter sets are coming with dials. I think this is something like 10 dials. Or something like that. But the dial packs are going to be for like... They didn't say it in exact terms, but they said it like 99% that future ships are not going to... They said they wanted to divorce themselves from putting dials with ships, which translates to future ships will not have dials. I don't know if that incorporates reprints, though. If maybe that's one reason we haven't seen much stock on Armada. Maybe all the Imperial and Rebel stuff is now being redone without dials. I don't know. But the problem is then you got to redo the box. Maybe that just fails to put them in the thing. I mean, I don't care. That's fine. I don't need any more dials. I think some people might. So we get to look. Here's another really interesting thing with the ship cards, right? These are all baseball card size or LCG size ship cards. I love having like the video going on behind me when I got the pictures of it right there. Like this is kind of a cool setup. So this is exciting. But so they're gonna have 2 versions of each ship. So in keeping with standard Armada tradition, one of the things that was talked about was the keywords. Like, you know, Acclamator 1 has clone and transport. We know from the video, I think it's the Acclamator 2 has clone, transport, and bombard. And all of those keywords don't mean a thing as far as actual rules, right? Clone doesn't mean anything. It's only there as a hook or as a reference point to be referenced by other cards. We've seen some of the early previews, and I'm going to include these when I do my full Armada Clone Wars kind of breakdown. But like there's updates that'll say clone only or something like that. And the same thing, and Separatists have a droid keyword too. And because not all, so like one of my questions for them was, well, why do you need clone? Wouldn't all Republic ships have the clone keyword? And they said not specifically. For example, some ships that are all in red might represent the Republic's guard or like like a non-cloned fleet. Ships that existed, part of the Republic's navy that existed before the clone army was created, such as the Consular class armed cruiser, which is all in red there. That one presumably will not have the clone keyword. And that's interesting because that might mean that it's actually a better ship, but now is restricted by not being able to take certain upgrades that might have kind of skewed it into the realm of being overpowered. What's going on in the chat? We've got you guys. Highlander Law says pre-orders are up. Well, that's a good time to go ahead and lock in your pre-orders. Maybe I'll do that this afternoon. FFG has pre-orders up already. Here's the thing. What I haven't done yet, and what happened with the X-Wing stream yesterday, is I have to check the Asmodee site, because sometimes if you go to, instead of Fantasy Flight Zone site, if you go to Asmodee's site, they actually have a spread of cards with each pre-order, and sometimes there's like a new look at a card that you haven't seen before. So I'll definitely be sure to check that out. They didn't talk a whole lot about the new rules, but one of the things they talked about as far as new rules is that they were streamlining the way certain effects were going to work. So you see a new symbol up here on reactive gunnery. This means that it's a recurring thing, kind of you exhaust it and it comes back, right? And that's kind of one of the things they're doing with new rules. While this is a new card that is not faction dependent, so there will be some new cards in here that, if you're only a Rebel or Imperial player, there's still some new cards in here that might be useful for you. You know what I didn't ask is if the upgrade card collection is going to include the new cards for Rebel and Imperial players. So are they going to... Or maybe they said that. That's actually a really good question. That's something we need to ask them. Are the new upgrade cards that come in here going to also be present in the upgrade card collection for non-Clone Wars players? Because like they make it seem like the Clone Wars, the upgrade card collection is for new players, but what about old players that aren't interested in Clone Wars? Are they going to be able to get access to all these new cards in the upgrade card collection? My guess is yes, but that's interesting. And this is a cool card too, like reactive gunnery. It's going to give anybody with a defensive retrofit the ability to salvo. This is a fantastic defensive retrofit because now it's almost an offensive defensive retrofit. It is technically defense because it's definitely working with your defense tokens, but this is if you're going all offense, like a CR90 or an Architans, which I for example, when do I ever put a defensive retrofit on an Architans or a CR90? I just usually don't ever do that. Like, I mean, it's small ships usually don't need like ECM all that often, right? But here's a great option if you know you can be one-shotted or something like that. Hey, here you go. You can because when you salvo, you can even salvo if you're one-shotted. So this way you get a chance to fire that kill shot of doom, right? And it's only 4 points. Yeah, it is, Chandler. Good point. It is super cheap. What's going on? Everybody hanging out with us in chat too, by the way. Thank you guys for hanging out. So reactive gunnery looks really cool. Is a once per game or once per turn thing. Yeah, and unless you spend a token that maybe you didn't need. Okay. The other, you know what else is cool about this? This is really good on a CR90 because at close range you couldn't use those evade tokens anyway, right? Like I think of this with a CR90 and turbo laser reroute circuits. Like, oh, you know what? One red die out the rear. Okay, I've got you. You know what? And now I can exhaust my other evade, so I can spend one evade to reactive gunnery. salvo back, spend the other evade to make it a double. So if you attack my CR90 at close range, all of a sudden you're getting a double damage to the face. That's so cool. This is, oh, we got a super chat from Keith. Thanks, Keith, man. Keith says, love your videos, dude. Thank you so much, man, for the $5 super chat, helping support the channel, dude. Rock and roll. I love you, man. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. This is really, the articles are up on the website right now. Obviously, we'll look into those. I'm still going to keep going with the rest of this stream. We're going to just cover everything they talked about in the live stream. And, there's going to be, I think they said like maybe 1 or 2 more cards kind of spoiled in the articles. But before I like kind of do all that, I'll probably just like decompress and kind of arrange everything into a better presentation. I'll have videos on everything else. They talk about the fighter squadrons. We did get a look at the V-19 kind of up close. It's got escort and swarm. So the V-19 looks pretty good at 12 points. So not super cheap and not expensive. You can definitely swarm these guys. They have swarm and escort, which is interesting. You've got speed 3, so not super. Actually pretty survivable with 5 hull too. This is a good ship, and it's really good for anti-squadron. Black die against ships too. This is a really good squadron, right? Like very versatile right here. Really versatile ship squadron here. A red and 2 blue plus the reroll. Presumably you reroll the red with swarm. I really like the V-19. That's good. The Separatists look awesome. Again, about 200 points for this one. The hard cell, we get a look at that droid and transport for the hard cell class. The Munificent is looking really awesome too. We've got 4 shields on the front, 3 shields on the sides. The Munificent has different arcs too. The front arc kind of goes in a little bit. They talked about that a little. So it's gonna fly a little differently, and I like that they're doing different things with printed firing arcs, because for the most part they've always just been X's. And the prices too, like 52 points for the hard cell, and now that's a small ship. That's a little on the upper end of where small ships tend to, right? I mean, presumably it's a command 1 ship, so it's in the high end for a command 1 small ship, but we haven't seen all of it. It's gonna have defensive retrofit. It's gonna have turbo laser. So turbo laser is good. I don't know its defense tokens. I don't know if we can see those. Maybe that's in some of the other pictures. That's part of why I have to kind of put all of this together. Munitions resupply is a new card that they showed us. It's going to start. So on the left side, first off, this is fleet support, right? Or fleet support, which is kind of cool. So you can put this on your flotillas. I didn't even recognize that this is fleet support. What can even take fleet support here? Maybe one of the versions of hard cell? I'm not sure. Because, this hard cell can't take it. So it's probably the other hard cell. Because this is a battle refit, and the other one's a transport. Maybe that's the way that's going to work. This is interesting. And if it had 3 red coming out the front, Michael C., 52 points. Pardon me. Is fair. Yeah, I agree. The hard cell transport is the one that has the fleet. That makes sense. I agree with that. That's about, They did say that. This is all live reactions, so while there's so much going on, it's a little overwhelming. I'll admit that for sure. Okay, so the munitions resupply is going to start with 5 concentrate fire tokens on it. It's only going to have 5 for the whole game. But then you can exhaust it, assign some tokens out to other ships. You can do all of them at once, or if you don't have that many ships in your build, right? If you're on a 3, maybe you do like 2 now and then 3 later. But to ready it, you're going to have to spend a concentrate fire, an engineering, or a nav token. That's kind of how that's going to work. What in the world is this nonsense? I don't know who this is. I don't know. I'll call them back. So the munitions resupply is doing that. We've got the Separatist fighters pack. We've got to look at the voltage droids. AI is going to enhance stuff if you're activated via a squadron command. So basically, if you go with the squadron phase, they're going to be a little bit weaker. If you activate them via a ship and you're doing good commands that way, then you're going to be able to get that AI. You're going to be able to get a bonus. And there's going to be a lot of different ways that they're doing AI. For this one, it gives in squadron commands. They mentioned the Hyena bomber was going to have AI battery. And so that much is cool. Let's see what else. I think they talked about the Belubulub a little bit. I don't remember the specifics of. There would be biological people flying the Belubulub. We got prices there. They talked a lot about the upgrade card collection. It's going to have every upgrade. I think they said 290 cards, and they will capture errata. So errata is coming, and points adjustments. And they will also have some new symbology to reflect the new rules. They're going to be the new sizes, LCG or baseball card sizes. Your 3x3 pages, things like that. Yes, the belly rub had relay on it. Thank you, Chandler. That is right. That was, again, so much information, I didn't get it all into my notes. But Grand Admiral Thrawn is a good example of how a card is functionally the same, yet is how to have kind of a redesign just to reflect some of the new rules. And that new rule here is that he's got the 3 dials that he starts with. So anybody who starts the game with something that doesn't get replenished, it looks like it'll be over on the left-hand side in that blue bar. Anything that is recurring, it looks like it's going to be on the right-hand side in a red bar or something like that. That's kind of one of the new standards. And since Thrawn already had that, they just kind of went with like the thing that they were already doing. Let's see. Bail Organa is in the Republic order. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. Leia, when a friendly ship resolves a command... she's the same. Yeah, she just got a 10-point 10-point cost reduction. Some people in chat were saying, well, she's still not good. I still wouldn't use her. She's not that bad. This is probably a good place. I can't react too much to this other than to say thank you for listening to us. Presumably, Tarkin will be along the same lines. I don't think Tarkin will go down quite as much. I think as it stands right now, Tarkin is a lot more playable than Leia. Although I think Tarkin will get a points reduction. It may not be a full 10 point. He may only go down by like 8 or 9 points, somewhere in there. Still a good commander. I still love Tarkin, but he's not as playable as I'd like him to be, and not for his current cost. So I'm hoping he goes down. Also, turbo laser reroute circuits, no change as far as function, but it does have the exhaust and once per game kind of symbol to remind you that you exhaust it. XI7 is more the interesting one. They showed us this one. This one has an errata. While attacking, if the defender spends a redirect token... No, it used to be that you can only redirect 1 point. It cannot suffer more than 1 damage on each hull zone other than the defending hull zone. So this means that, like, the defensive retrofit... what's it called? That, now you can still use that and still put 1 damage on each of your other hull zones. So like, now all of a sudden, like, maybe an assault frigate wants to take... gosh, what's the name of that card? Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find that other card, because I'm drawing a blank, and I shouldn't be drawing a blank right now. I'll tell you in a second. Advanced projectors, thank you. Yeah, advanced projectors. I don't know but yeah, so if you want to run advanced projectors against XI7, it'll still have some function. It'll still be useful. That's pretty cool. Let's see, and then they give us a preview of the next wave, which is awesome. And I'll be honest with you, I'd already spoiled all of this stuff. So this is, I've done articles about this. We'll talk about these. These are now, distributors are saying that these are coming in January. Those dates tend to change all the time, so I don't know for sure. We will have to see. But 1 second. All right, sorry, had to talk to a family for a second. Let's see. All right, there's a couple more things I want to talk about before we kind of wrap this up, because there's plenty to talk about for sure. Let's see. There was pass tokens. We need to talk about pass tokens. They have said that the pass tokens are going to have like some new effects. That's something that they're using. They didn't go into specifics, but they basically said, yeah, there's extra pass tokens in there because you're gonna there's new ways to use pass tokens, and there's gonna be new things that put them out there. They said all cards will remain legal for organized play. All cards that exist. So like nothing is going away. No cards are getting like illegalized or erased or anything like that. Another big thing is a living rules reference guide. They're doing a living RRG, so that is exciting. And they're also looking to do points updates in the future. So like if we find out that Leia is now still overcosted, she can come down a little bit more, and things like that. that is definitely going to happen. Yeah. All right. Well, let's. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, unique squadrons too. And for a lot of the squadron pack stuff, you're gonna have more than one unique squadron, more than one ace for a lot of these, which is cool. They're trying to put a lot of Jedi into this stuff, so that's a pretty cool. Stuff. Sorry, I missed some of the chat. I know that there's just been a new article posted. I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm going to process that. There'll be more videos coming, more stuff. I've got a lot of things that I'm going to jump and get into. A lot more information coming, so stay tuned. We've got some giveaways. If you guys, didn't I mention giveaways? If you guys want to win these 4 Armada promos, it's Star Destroyer, Assault Frigate, GR75, and a Nebulon. There's 2 chances. One, right now in the chat, give me a hashtag Armada if you're interested in winning one of these. If you don't win one of these, I'm also going to be putting these on Patreon. These are also going to go up on Patreon. I have 2 sets, right? So one's going up on my Patreon later today, and the other one is being given away right now. Well, there's a whole lot of entries. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm going to point. All right. Let's see. Whoa, good. All right. So who was it? It's Cameron 7. All right. Well, congrats, Cameron. Man, there's a whole lot of stuff. Cameron, just shoot me an email and I'll get these shipped out to you. All right. That's man, there's a lot of entries. We got a lot of folks. There's more chances to win. So if you look, as I get ready to wrap this up, I want you guys to know I thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had a great live stream tonight or this morning. It was kind of early. We're gonna be doing more. I'm gonna be doing the Legion one. We'll cover Legion tomorrow. Lots more videos coming. I haven't even touched on the TI4 stuff. I don't know how many of you guys are interested in Twilight Imperium. But yeah, that's exciting. If you guys are interested in Patreon or supporting the channel or anything like that, I mean, first off, thank you just for hanging out. There's links in the description where you can get all kinds of cool information. If you want to follow me on social media, Twitter and Facebook, all that stuff is there. I usually post there to remind about important things or sometimes post screenshots. Again, like if you're interested in any of the shirts, like this one, or any of the masks or gator necks or any of that stuff, there's links for all that stuff down in the description below. And that definitely helps support the channel. And that's about it, guys. I'm going to thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, guys. This has been fun. I'm super excited. I need to go breathe now and have some more coffee. I'll talk to you guys later. And as always, have a great day.